Good afternoon, everyone. Very glad to be here today at the LoRaWAN Expo and discussing a topic that is, very close to, to a key issue that we're facing in the market is how we can extend the LoRaWAN network coverage via satellite. So my name is Luc Perard. I worked at Eutelsat and I'm the SVP of IoT business. And maybe I will start with, even though we are a contributing member of the LoRa Alliance, maybe a short introduction on who Eutelsat is. So we are not a startup. We are actually a large company. We've been around 45 years. We've been in the satellite business from our inception, 1977. And we do 1.2 billion euros of turnover. We are, let's say, our traditional business is broadcasting and broadband connectivity. We have actually recently invested in OneWeb, which you may have heard about. It's a UK company that is delivering new types of broadband connectivity via low Earth orbit satellite. But we are also investing in IoT and in narrowband connectivity. And that's what I'm going to talk to you about today. What we are doing in narrowband IoT and in particularly in the LP1 space and LoRaWAN space and how we are really enabling new use cases, new opportunities. So to start with, to understand where we're coming from, well, first, and unlike many other satellite companies that have been in the business of creating new proprietary technologies to connect people and things, as a matter of fact, we realized, okay, let's look at the market for LP1. There are basically 4 technologies that are dominating this place: LoRa, LoRaWAN, NB-IoT, LTE-M, Sigfox. So I'm not saying one of these technologies is better than the others. Well, probably LoRa is, and it's actually when you look at the ecosystem that we have, yes, it's really big. It's really big. But what I want to say here is that instead of going with those proprietary satellite-only technologies, let's look and let's pick one. Let's pick those technologies, those LP1 technologies, and address, let's say, one of the major limitations that they all share, all of them, whether it's LoRa, NB-IoT, LTE-M, or Sigfox, that is actually coverage. So to give you an example, here you see on that slide the coverage of various LoRaWAN network operators in various parts of the world, in the US, in Brazil. That's also Switzerland, our friends at Swisscom. Very good pervasive coverage in some areas for Swisscom, but still some areas that are not covered. And this has been an issue that prevents the deployment of many use cases and actually the real growth of IoT and of LoRaWAN. This is this lack of coverage. And that's exactly the problem that with satellites we can address. So the situation as it is today, as you know, the LoRaWAN networks, they rely on gateways. Those gateways, they have a limited range, 3 to 10 miles, 5 to 15 kilometers typically, even less in cities. And most of those gateways, they are deployed in urban areas, as you can see on the right side here. They are deployed there. The devices can connect to that gateway. The gateway is backhauled to the LoRaWAN network server. That's all great and fine. But as you can see on the left side, in all those other settings outside of urban areas, rural, even suburban, rural, and even at seas, there is just no coverage. And those LoRa devices, they have no access whatsoever. And so what we are doing, what we are proposing at Eutelsat with ELO, that's the name of our offering, we're proposing this. We are putting in orbit, in low Earth orbit, you see those constellation of nanosatellites that will enable those very same LoRa devices that you know and that you use today to be able to send their messages directly to satellite without the need of a gateway. So our satellites, they are in low Earth orbit, meaning that they are not fixed in the sky like traditionally satellites have been. They are moving. So essentially, when they pass over the device sends the messages that they have to send, the LoRa message, using the very same standard method, the very same standard chipsets. That's the very same LoRa device. They send that to satellites, we capture that message, and we bring it back to Earth, to our Earth stations that you see here in the middle. And then our approach is the following. Once we have captured those messages, we route all those messages to the network operator partners that we're working with. And by that I mean network operators, I don't only mean public LoRaWAN networks, like I mentioned our friends at Swisscom, for instance, or others. I'm meaning anyone who operates a LoRaWAN network can basically benefit from this infrastructure that I'm showing here, that is ELO, in order to extend their networks. That is the way we go to market. We partner with anyone who have, let's say, a LoRa network and they want to extend the reach, the coverage of this network. So we just collect their messages on their behalf and we route them back to their LoRaWAN network server. So this presents a lot of benefits, and let's say the key value that we offer here is we enable let's actually, in a nutshell, we enable those devices to send uplinks. At the moment, indeed, our service is Uplinks Only. It's sometimes some people may see this as a limitation, but if you look at it, if you discuss with the ecosystems and the needs of companies, most and the overwhelming majority of use cases, they actually don't need the downlink. They just need the uplinks, and that's what we offer. We offer a small message up to 50 bytes, and we give them the opportunity to send that message. Let's say every time they see a satellite, if there is a need. Typically, what we see and the use cases that we address, it's companies that are sending a small number of messages per day. 1, 2, 3, 5, something like this. Not more than that, but the beauty of our solution is that now, suddenly, those very same devices are able to send their messages no matter where they are in the world, without, let's say, without the need of having gateways, and by keeping the devices as it is today at a very low, price point, and at a very efficient battery life as well. Because that's also very important. There is negligible impact on the BOM cost of the device and on the battery life of the device with our solution. To go into a bit technical details, this works globally, not just in certain continents, because those nano satellites are really orbiting around the planet, so we cover 100% of the planet. We use the standard frequencies, the sub-gigahertz band, 868, 915 megahertz. So the device, I mean, it's exactly the same device that are communicating today, that are using the terrestrial network today, and they are able to seamlessly send their data to the satellite networks, our satellite networks, when there is no terrestrial network in sight. And our goal, of course, and that's maybe last but not least, what is very important is the fact that it is at a price point that is compatible with LoRaWAN, because traditionally satellite has been existing actually for years. However, it has been extremely expensive, several orders of magnitude more expensive. Here, I'm not saying that we're going to compete with actually terrestrial LoRaWAN networks. No, it will always be more expensive, but we're making it in the same ballpark, in the same price range, so that the use cases that you have, where you would need to deploy millions of LoRa devices, when you have a fraction of these devices, sometimes it can be 5%, sometimes it can be 20%, that will go over satellites because there's no terrestrial network, your use cases, your business case will still fly because of that, even if you're using satellite for this. Also, last but not least, we are here, the LoRa Alliance, we are fully compatible with the LoRaWAN standards. So the way we deliver the messages, we get those messages back from our satellites, we route them to the LoRaWAN network servers of our partners. So they receive that just like they would receive from any other network partners. So where is ELO and satellite LoRaWAN connectivity applicable? Well, we see that in a number of verticals. And here it's highlighted some of the, let's say, most important verticals where we see demand for this and really a big need for that. It's oil and gas, utilities, it's agriculture, and of course also, as well transportation and logistics. So it's not necessarily moving assets that will go out of a terrestrial LoRaWAN network, just like, for instance, anything in asset tracking. It's also fixed assets that you want to connect and that are spread out everywhere, like in oil and gas, like in agriculture sensors that are, by definition, in rural area. They don't move, but they are literally everywhere where no network is available. So yeah, I'm showing here also some use cases, some types of assets that can be connected via this. So there is a huge variety of use cases across all industries where suddenly having the ability to have very low-cost devices like LoRa devices that have a very long battery life, operating on small battery, that are inexpensive because that's the same price points of LoRa devices. Suddenly, when they can connect anywhere, that really opens up use cases that were previously just not possible because it was not feasible technically or financially to deploy terrestrial networks. So that's really what we are unlocking with this satellite LoRa offerings. So how we go to market? Well, I'm highlighting here actually the offerings of our partners. We are actually a fully, let's say, partner business. We go with partners, whether partners it's in the hardware business that are actually proposing LoRa products, LoRa devices that are ELO compatible, like our partner Wide Networks, who is exhibiting here, or whether it's, let's say, connectivity providers like Senet, as an example. Everyone knows about Senet, one of the founding members of the LoRa Alliance. They operate a LoRaWAN networks, carrier-grade LoRaWAN networks in the US that is lacking some coverage in some areas. By integrating ELO into their offerings, they will be able to actually deliver, let's say, Earth coverage for LoRaWAN based on the, let's say, leveraging ELO, the ELO service. So here showing, that's, there is this one slide missing, so I will stay maybe with the previous one that was explaining indeed those offerings. So Senet is able to provide what we call a hybrid connectivity, hybrid LoRaWAN connectivity that will seamlessly blend let's say, their existing terrestrial networks as well as the ELO network coverage in order to be capable to offering to their customers, their solution providers, connectivity offerings that are not only terrestrial based on their terrestrial network, but also leveraging satellite network in order to indeed unlock new use cases. So with those partners, we are already working with a number of prospects. That service, by the way, is not live today. We're working to launch commercially towards the end of this year with a limited number of satellites. But that will really enable the first use cases to be to be delivered and to be capable of leveraging this additional infrastructure that complement the LoRaWAN, the existing LoRaWAN networks to enable that connectivity virtually everywhere outdoor. And that's it for now. Feel free to contact me, to find me on the Wide Networks booth over there in the Expo, and happy to discuss with you your projects, your opportunities, and I'm really thrilled to hear what you could build, what solutions the ecosystem, the LoRaWAN ecosystem could build thanks to global direct-to-satellite LoRaWAN connectivity. Thank you very much.